greatest tragedy is not failure, it is never starting at all. Welcome to Reality Unravel podcast. On today's episode, we are going to talk about something everyone experience. Whether you want to start a business, heal from pain, start a relationship, pursue a dream, or simply make change in life. Fear. Not the fear of lions or accidents, but the fear that stop us from beginning. The fear of being judged, the fear of failing, the fear of not being good enough, the fear of wasting time, the fear of success. Many people spend years planning, preparing, researching, and waiting for the perfect time. But life's greatest tragedy is not failure. It is never starting at all. Today, we are going to explore why starting is difficult and how people struggle to start. And also, we are going to talk how they can develop courage moving forward. And joining me is my own brother, a friend also, Mr. Terry, the CEO of The Boss Clothing, one of the baddest fashion designer in town here in Saple. And with an example, you can see how I'm looking good. This fashion design is from his shop. And I welcome you, my brother, to today's topic and conversation. I'm really happy for having you.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you. I'm also excited to be here on today's topic on fear.
Okay. I'm going to start from the root. What is fear from a psychological perspective?
Fear can be defined as is an alarm to every human being. That is how fear can be defined.
Okay. Is fear normal or a sign that something is wrong?
It doesn't generally mean that fear is a sign that something is wrong, but I can say that fear is normal. It is normal to be afraid. It's normal to be scared. But at the end of the day, what fear causes, that is what is the most important thing. But fear doesn't generally mean that something is wrong.
Okay. Can we ever benefit from fear?
For that, I would say yes and no. Because every human being has their own meaning of fear to them and how it affects them. Fear can cause you pain and also it can cause you joy. You might want to start something and fear might make you not to go about that thing. And at the end of the day, you discover that thing came out well, but you did not do it. That is the bad side of it. And at the same time, fear can make you not to start something, and at the end of the day, you discover that thing came out very wrongly. So you can see now that
you'll be happy.
You will be happy that you did not.
Thank God, I did not do.
Thank God I was scared.
That's true. That's true. If you want to now weigh things on the scale of the bad and the good, which will you actually pick?
I cannot pick on any, but I will say just like we humans, when we hear the word fear, being scared, what comes to our mind first is always what is going on. Like the anxiety of something bad has happened. That is the number one thing of fear that comes to our mind. So if I want to scale it, I would say sometimes, oftentimes rather, fear causes unnecessary anxiety. Either you are worrying or you just, your body start changing. That's why I say meaning of fear is like the body alarm system. Just send alarm to your body, and your body, everything, you start, getting scared. You know how you feel when you are scared.
And you said fear is normal. Then why is it that in life, so people are moving forward, they are progressing, and some are stopped?
That is a normal thing in life, and not everybody will be successful.
That's true.
Not everybody will not be successful. So if I should relate that to fear, it doesn't generally mean that those that are successful, they were never scared at some point in their life of starting what made them successful. But I would say it is the boldness they took. So one of the way to overcome fear is your boldness. When that fear comes, how you overcome it and say, no matter what, I will start this thing. I will go ahead with this thing. I will not let fear drag me back. But at the end of the day, even the successful ones, you can ask them and they will tell you sometimes that I've overcome or use my boldness to overcome fear, I end up regretting. I should have just stayed back. So that is why I can tell you for free that fear does not generally mean that you will be rich or you will not be rich.
Okay. Why do people struggle starting things they truly want?
That is where I will say fear. And what type of fear? The fear of failing, the fear of what the world will say. You get some persons might want to start something new and they will be like, I don't want to start this thing. You get they want to you start being scared of failing. What if I start now and I fail? People start laughing at me. So in a world where we live in whereby sometimes some persons are more concerned about what the world has to say about them, you can see that fear always comes in. They don't want to fail. You being scared of failure, that is the number one thing why people are stuck and they don't want to go into what they are supposed to go to.
Being scared of failure.
Being scared of failure. That is all I will say on that.
Okay. What fears are hidden underneath I am not ready? Many people, when you ask them that, why haven't you started this stuff? What's keeping you behind from probably going into this field? Or they will just give you this normal short brief that I'm not ready.
And sometimes readiness, when we say readiness, it often say that fear also affects your readiness. And sometimes it might be financial, difficulty. Maybe the person, whatever you want to go to, you don't have enough capital to start it. You don't have enough help. You don't have enough, mobility to start what you want to start. So that is why you cannot generally describe your own readiness as being scared of going into that thing.
Okay. Some people probably they are not financially ready.
Yes, financially buoyant.
That's probably a valid reason why probably not to start up yet. But do you know some people are hidden under fear with that excuse of I'm not yet ready?
Yes, of course. Many people always hide under the fear of I am not ready yet. And like I said earlier, the fear of not being ready is because they are scared of failing.
Okay.
But I would want to just like an advice to people that you don't need to be scared of starting what you want to start. Once you fail, you start again. You fail, you start again. You keep going until you get it right. Forget about what the world will say. Forget about what your friends, your family would say about you that you have failed so many times. I will tell one story now. I have a friend that has gone into several businesses. When we were growing up, after schooling and everything, we started venturing into our different businesses. And then there's this guy that has done almost I cannot say everything because you cannot do everything in life. Every business is in life, but I'm saying more than 10 businesses. This guy has ventured into 10 different businesses. So it doesn't mean that person does not did not experience fear at some point, but he took it to himself that I must make it. And as I speak to you now, is the person is abroad doing very well for himself. He's doing excellently well for himself. So you can see that fear will only drag you back. Fear will only drag you back. It will not make you achieve the goal you want to achieve in life.
You just hit a very valid point that fear will only drag you back. It will put you in a setback. And I'm really happy to hear that. Can childhood shape how we feel fear? In our childhood, there are so many times you want to do something, your parent will tell you you are not good enough for that field. Don't go into this, don't do this. The way we grow up, how can we shape how we feel fear?
This is to that aspect. Yes, childhood sometimes affects your ability to want to try new things. Because sometimes our parents, they talk down on us. They feel like you are not good enough for that thing that you want to start. And that this is to parents, that please always encourage your children. It's your responsibility to take that doubt away from your child. You cannot feed a child with fear. Some fed the child with fear, and that child is going to grow up in that aspect and is going to be scared in the rest of his life, and which is very, very bad. To grow up with fear. Sometimes our fathers, when we're growing up, I don't know about you, but for me, I'm always scared of my father. When you hear that, if I hear he's coming back, daddy's coming back from work, everything you are doing is on hold. You will stop doing everything and then run inside to go and carry your book and pretend you are reading or stuff like that. So, but thank God that the world is, evolving, and then stuff like this doesn't exist anymore. So it is important for parents to build a good relationship with their children. You don't have to input fear in them, and make them feel like in life that fear, you always want to be scared of doing something, because they might think that, okay, they are not doing anything, but you making your child to be scared of you are making him to be scared of a man outside. Sometimes they might not even stand up to their mates. They'll be scared. Once their mate they're having challenges or issues with their mate, they will not want to go into like physical fight with them, because they will feel like that fear of
anxiety.
They might beat me, and maybe if I get home, my father would not be happy with me. My father is going to add to it, and that is you can see now that you are already building that child with fear of not standing up to his mates. So fear generally from our childhood, sometimes fear, it is what affects our childhood, and we grow with that. And you can see that even in our life, when we want to make a decision, we now start being scared, because we already have that fear that our parents have put in us. We now want to apply into our day-to-day lives, even when we have grown up. So it is an advice to parents that you don't input fear in your kids, your children. While you can teach them whatever you want to teach them, but do not input fear in them and make them start being scared of the world.
Thank you. What role does comparison play in fear?
Yes, comparison is as an adult, just like I will use myself as an example. You would always want to do well, because people would always want to compare you to others. Like I said, I'll use myself as an example. Where my office is, you would discover that you have almost 20 fashion designers
in town,
in that street alone. Where my office is, not even in town. If I'm talking about town, that means to say we have over 1,001 fashion designers in town. So that fear comes in, whereby you are being scared of
who is doing better.
The next person is doing better than you. This, that. But at the end of the day, you have to tell yourself the truth. Before I leave the house every morning, I always tell myself I am the best, and nobody comes close. So always build yourself with that, confidence. Yes, self-confidence is the word. Build yourself with that self-confidence. I always tell yourself that no matter what, you might be doing your thing, I might be doing my own. Forget about comparison. Is when you start compare yourself with others, that is where the problem starts from. You start being scared that, that guy did pass me, that guy is doing better than me. That is where fear comes in, and that is what drags you back, because you will now start doing before overdo yourself, because you want to prove a point, and you don't really need all that. You don't really need all that.
Okay. From our conversations earlier, you mentioned that so many people have this anxiety of they don't want to feel, they are scared of feeling. I'm going to ask you now, if people probably they don't want to start things they want because they are scared of feeling, scared of being judged, is it true that some people are frightened by success?
No. Some persons, I will not say that they are frightened or scared by success.
Okay.
Just like you said, the fear of failure often affect people. There's a saying that says, become successful is very easy, but to stay successful is the most difficult thing ever in life. To become successful takes years, but to go back to nothing takes just an hour. So that is why people are not fighting by success. Overthinking things causes fear as well.
Mm.
When you overthink things, when you want to start something, you start thinking. Before you know, you start having the doubt. And once you start having that, that's fear coming in.
Do you know that sometimes when we think of what we are going to become in the future, stop people from starting? Probably they think, am I really going to be an artist, or am I going to be a bishop? Is this what I'm going to become in the future? Do you know that successful mind of the image they are seeing in the future frightens them not to go into that thing?
I will start by saying the future does not frighten you.
Mm.
What frightens you is the too much of expectations.
Mm.
You know, you are expecting too much. Just let you pray and let God direct you through life. Just like they will say, every man plan. You can make your plan and God will decide. I will use a graduate as an example. You are looking forward to be a financial accountant or to be an accountant rather. And at the end of the day, you see yourself not going into that field. You start diverting. Those things, you will not be like you are scared of going into that thing that you are diverting to because you studied accounting. So oftentimes life, you cannot tell what your tomorrow is.
Mm.
Life often change your mindset. So once that change comes, be ready to embrace it. You don't have to be scared to go into it. Sometimes you might be a graduate and it's your talent that will take you to where you want to be. Every human being has talent, you just have to discover it. Good and fine. Some persons discover their talent on time and they went through, they studied through that part and today they are doing well. Why some persons they did not discover their talent? After they have studied medicine, they now discover that this is my passion, this is what I have talent for. They will not be scared of going into that place because they'll feel like, but I studied medicine. No, no.
Okay.
Musicians today that you see, not everyone went to the school of music to study music.
That's
Even a
true.
fashion designer today,
Never
not
went to school
everyone.
to
One of the best fashion designer, which is Shei,
shave
he
the.
never studied fashion in school. Once you start the writing, you start being scared, and you are scared. You don't have that confidence anymore. So before leaving your house, always put that confidence in yourself. Tell yourself, "This is who I am. I will make it. I will achieve it." So by doing that, you often say that doing that always, you will get to see that you have taken fear away from you. You have put that courage, that confidence, and that belief in yourself.
Okay. And from your statements and while we are talking, you said each morning you talk to yourself, you have these self motivational words of affirmations you say to yourself before stepping out, and that shows at some stage you must have experienced fear personally. Tell us about a time you were afraid to start something.
You know, as a human, yes, of course, I experience fear all the time. But you know, like I said, that self-confidence makes me overcome fear always. So there was a time, even before starting my business 7 years ago, I was, being spectacular, being scared of going into fashion. But then again, it was people around me that was saying, you love fashion, you always, this is
Yes.
what you do randomly. You get, I got encouragement from people, you
Mm.
know, and then the belief I have in myself that yes, if I go into this, I will be great in it. That was what pushed me into it. That was the main part of me overcoming fear. I was being bold. I was being truthful to myself. I was telling myself that I am good at this and I will make it in this. If I do this, I will make it. That does not mean when I started there was no setback. There was no regret. And sometimes it's business, of course. You might want to start regretting that. I would have just listened to that mind of fear.
If I had known.
If I had known, I would have just listened to that mind of fear. But my dear brother, I would advise you today that when that time comes, because it will definitely come no matter what you do, no matter how you do it, that mind of regret of feeling like you should have listened to fear, that mind of fear, or feeling like you shouldn't have gone into this will definitely come, because business is not all rosy, it's not all rosy. You might start a business today and you are not even getting anything from it. But I tell you, being consistent, one of the things that's kept me in these 7 years is being consistent in what I do, always believing in myself, having that belief, that confidence in me that nobody comes to me. Like I said, I am the baddest. I always tell myself, no matter what, if I travel, even when I travel, even when I go to Lagos, Abuja, people always say that come and live here, come and live in Lagos. Your fashion sense is not in this world. Where you are, they like say, but I often tell them that I want to bring Lagos to Sapele. I don't want to go to Lagos. I will bring Lagos to my town where I live. These are the things you face, and sometimes people backlash. They'll be like, all the times you have been here, charging, where's your car? Those type of statement would want to make you feel uncertain. Maybe this road you are going, but you need to tell yourself that I know what I am doing. I know who I am. I am focused. One thing again is you being focused. When you are focused in life, nothing can hinder you. And then to crown it all, you need to be closer to whatever you believe in. For me, I'm a Christian. I believe in God, so I don't joke with praying. I pray a lot, whatever I want to go into. Even while doing this business, I have ventured into different things. So I always ask God, pray to my Creator, and I get to listen. As a Christian that I am trying to be closer to my Creator, so I get to wait for His direction before I go into anything. That is what have kept me over these years.
Looking back with your experience of starting a business 7 years ago, and probably with other experiences you've had with fear, with setback, what advice would you give to your younger self?
I would just say to my younger self that if I had this knowledge I had when I was younger, maybe I would have been far gone. I would not be in this stage I am in. But regardless, I am also grateful for being here, because I know I have some persons that also started with me 7 years ago, but they are nowhere to be found now. So I'm also grateful to God.
Can fear ever disappear completely?
Generally in life, fear will never disappear, but you can make fear disappear from your life. And that is by your self-confidence, like I said.
Building a self-confidence.
And also your courage.
Building courage.
But fear will always be there.
Fear will always be there.
Fear will always be there.
Fear of the unknown. Fear of certainty. Okay, I don't know if you can differentiate between being cautious and fear.
Being cautious doesn't mean you are scared. But people often mistake being cautious of being scared. They will be like, yeah, he's scared. But that does not mean you are scared. You can be cautious. As a wise man, you need to know what you are doing before you go into it.
Okay.
You need to ask questions. But asking questions doesn't mean you are scared. People should learn this. As a man, we often lie to ourselves that we know it all. When you are trying to be like you are the most smartest, you will end up in the gutters. You need to ask questions wherever you find yourself.
Okay. If someone listening right now is stuck and probably having this fear of not starting something that they have been doing research on for long, they are waiting for perfect time. Like we've been saying, that there is certainty, there is uncertainty. Going into any adventure, sometimes you might not actually know if the future, if at the end you will succeed or you will fail. You just have to take that courage of starting, that self-courage. So if there's someone listening and watching us out there today and having this fear, feeling stuck, what word do you have for them?
Okay, to the youth out there, I want to put it out there that you need to be courageous, have confidence in yourself. You need to be consistent in what you do. You need to always be truthful to yourself. Those things are what will make you overcome fear. It's okay to feel bad. It's okay to feel sad. It's okay to go back to your drawing board. It's okay to regret. But my dear brothers, I want you to know that after doing all of that, regret and everything, come back again and start from where you stop. And I assure you, if you are consistent in what you are doing, it will yield success and you will be successful in life.
From how we just shared and the conversation we had with our guest, at least to all the listeners and viewers out there, if you paid attention attention and you listen attentively, fear can never disappear completely. Confidence doesn't mean fear is absent. Starting or taking the decision to move forward doesn't mean you are not scared. That is you taking the boldness. Like the Bible says, God has not put in us the spirit or the mind of fear, but he has given us the mind of boldness. That is confidence. Even in the midst of fear, you have to be bold. Thank you for joining us. If you have any dream, any goal, any business idea you want to start, don't let fear make you feel stuck. Act on it now. Like a word I always say out there, today is your best chance of improving tomorrow. If you keep postponing it, if you keep procrastinating, keep waiting for the perfect time, keep waiting for certainty that you want to be sure that you will make it, you want to be sure that the road is clear, my brother, regret will be your portion. And I don't want that to be your portion. You might fail, but failure is not the end. Those that fail, they stand and rise again. Pursue your dream. And at the end, you're going to notice that that bold step you took yesterday is what you are reaping today. Thank you, and we look forward to seeing you some other time. And thank you once again for your time. I really appreciate you. Thank you. You are welcome again.